Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at signs someone secretly dislikes you. Do you ever get that feeling when you're around a person or a friend that they really don't actually like you? Maybe you have, or maybe you haven't, but prepare to find out who actually likes you and who actually doesn't. All you need to do is look out for these things and you'll know a person's true feelings about you. But before we get into it, why not show me that you like me by subscribing and pressing the notification bell too. Coming up first, we have feet direction. When you're talking to someone or hanging out with them, you're likely not looking at their feet. But you should be, and here's why. We've already covered in my other videos that if someone's feet are facing you, that means they really like you. And believe it or not, it works the same if they're not facing you. If you're talking to a friend or even your crush and their feet are facing away, that's a bad sign. That means they really do not like you whatsoever. According to many body language experts, this is all about interest in you. If someone is not interested in you or what you're saying, their feet will naturally turn away from you. That's not something they think about doing, it's just their subconscious working. Another thing you can also look out for is the person's body. If they shift their whole torso away from you and only their head's facing you, that's also a bad sign. And of course, if their head's facing away and they're not even looking at you, that's also not good. So if you see someone who's talking to you and their feet are facing away, then you need to change the conversation. They may not like you, or maybe they're just uncomfortable in the conversation, but either way, it's not a good thing. Next up is fake smile. If someone smiles at you a lot, there's a good chance they like you. That is, of course, unless the person is doing a fake smile. But how do you know if someone's smile is sincere or fake? Well, there are some key signs you can look out for to know if someone secretly dislikes you from their smile. Ask any body language expert and they'll tell you a smile is not just about the mouth. Instead, a real smile uses thousands of muscles in your face. When someone smiles, you should look for wrinkles between their eyes. If their eyes are wrinkled, this means they're not just faking a smile. But a fake smile will look very tense as their eye muscles won't change and they won't have any lines around their eyes. If you see this kind of smile among friends a lot, that's a bad sign. You can also pay attention to how quickly a smile fades away. Look at many late night talk show hosts who laugh at every joke a guest makes. You'll see their smiles instantly go away after they've made the joke. That means they're fake smiling and fake laughing. A real smile will go down very gradually over a few seconds, not instantly. Next up is neck scratching. Someone touching their neck can mean many things, so don't panic. When someone is attracted to you, they may scratch their neck. But when someone's feeling tense or anxious, that's another reason why they may scratch their neck. But pay attention to where people scratch their neck when they're talking to you. If they scratch their neck right underneath their ear, this means they're either lying to you or disagreeing with what you're saying. Neck scratching is a sign of tension, so even if a person isn't being tense with their words, this is a big sign to show they're not comfortable in the situation. So if someone's scratching their neck while you're talking to them, they either don't like the topic of conversation or they don't like you. Next up, we have lack of mirroring. If you've seen my video of signs people like you, you'll know that mirroring is a big thing. Mirroring body language is simply where someone does the same body language as you do subconsciously. For example, if you're leaning back, they will too. Or if you're sitting upright, they'll do the same thing subconsciously. Well, a lack of this can actually show the opposite, meaning they don't like you. But how do you know if the person who's not mirroring your body language actually doesn't like you? Well, it's simple. When you first start talking to them, mirror their body language. Then if they switch positions to change their body language, this means they don't like you. However, if you change your body language and then they change it too, this means they really like you and may even be in love with you. Next up, we have distancing themselves. If someone's not all up in your grill, that doesn't necessarily mean they don't like you. But if someone is creating a massive distance between you physically, this means they do not like you emotionally. The greater the physical distance between two people is, the more they don't like each other. A way to test this is by going closer to the person you're talking to. If you see them gradually backing away or shifting position, this likely means they're not into you. So if you have one friend who is always keeping their distance, then maybe look into it as they may not like you. Next up is tone of voice. Everyone has natural tones of voice depending on their emotions. For example, you can tell when someone's happy or angry depending on the tone of their voice. But how can you use vocal tones to see if someone dislikes you? Well, ironically, you actually need to look out for a very sweet tone of voice. If someone's vocal tone is high-pitched or too sweet, that's a bad sign and means they don't like you. Also, if the person you're talking to is going a lot and also slurring their words and saying them slowly, this means they could be bored. This will show a lack of connection between you and your friend and also means they're bored of the conversation or even you. Also, if someone's talking very fast, this means they're trying to cover something up. It may also mean they want to get the conversation over and done with, as they don't like talking to you. Next up is not listening. Do you have that friend who seems to forget every detail of a conversation you have? Well, they may not just be forgetful, they actually may not be listening. And it's no secret that not listening means they don't really like you and are not really interested. When you really like someone, like when you have a crush on them, you likely remember every little detail about them. You might remember their birthday or their dog's name. But if your friend can't even remember basic things about things you've done together or things you've said together, this means they're bored. Your friend may also be quite narcissistic. You can tell this by if you say something about yourself, they give a one-word answer. Or if they're really narcissistic, they also may shift the conversation back to them. Next up is lack of eye contact. Did you know eye contact is the key way to know that someone is listening to you very intently? That's why one of the top tips for all job interviews is to look the interviewer in the eye. But what if the person you're talking to is never making eye contact? They may just be shy, but if they're shy with a good friend, this likely means they don't really trust you or like you. Lack of eye contact also shows a lack of respect. But what's even worse is they don't want you to know this. If someone's not making eye contact, this means they're trying to not let you see how they really feel. So if they don't like you but don't want you to know this, they won't show their eye contact to you. And finally, on the list of signs people may not like you, we have compressed lips. One thing most people don't look at when communicating is the other person's lips. But according to body language experts, they can give away a ton of information. If someone is biting or compressing their lips, this means they feel very uncomfortable. This is also something the police use in interrogations to see if someone's nervous. People bite their lips to calm themselves down when they're stressed. That's because it kicks into their primal instincts. Your body thinks lip biting is like eating, and if we're eating, there must be no imminent danger. It sounds crazy, but that's actually how our brains have evolved over time. So if someone's compressing their lips during a conversation, this means you're bothering them and they may not like you. But don't panic if you only see one of these signs in someone you're talking to. You should at least look out for a few over a matter of days before deciding if someone really doesn't like you. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the most useful sign someone secretly dislikes you. I think it's the tone of voice, as not many people actually pay attention to this. If you guys want some more amazing videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now, leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.